In the world of political theory, few names carry as much weight, and few ideas have stirred as much debate as that of Niccolò Machiavelli. Often regarded as the father of modern political science, Machiavelli's views on power, morality, and governance have shaped the trajectory of political thought for centuries. But why is his name so synonymous with political cunning? And how did his controversial ideas influence the development of political philosophy? More importantly, did Machiavelli lay the groundwork for the evolution of modern political thought, or was he simply a cynic with a dangerous ideology that continues to haunt contemporary politics? From the social contract theories of Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau to the political realisms of Schmitt and Friedrich Hayek, Machiavelli's legacy looms large. He may have lived during the Renaissance, but his insights into power dynamics, human nature, and statecraft resonate in the theories of political philosophers who came after him. His work, especially The Prince, offers a pragmatic, often ruthless view of political life that sharply contrasts with the idealistic visions of later thinkers. However, his ideas are not easily dismissed. They challenge us to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of leadership, power, and the state. In this video, we will examine how Machiavelli's ideas influenced later political philosophers such as Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and modern theorists like Schmitt and Friedrich Hayek. Were his ideas a turning point in the development of political science? Or was he merely a product of his time, an opportunist whose cynicism has no place in contemporary thought? Let's explore this fascinating topic in greater detail. Before we begin our exploration of Machiavelli's influence on modern political thought, I'd like to take a moment to welcome you to the unfolding journey. Here, we dive deep into the history of political philosophy, uncovering the origins and developments of ideas that have shaped the world as we know it. From the ancient Greeks to modern-day theorists, we seek to understand how political ideas evolve and what they mean for us today. In this episode, we're taking a critical look at one of the most influential figures in political thought, Niccolò Machiavelli, and how his theories have left an indelible mark on subsequent generations of political thinkers. If you're passionate about understanding the development of political theory and how the past continues to shape the present, make sure to subscribe to The Unfolding Journey and join us for more thought-provoking discussions on history and philosophy. Niccolò Machiavelli's political philosophy, particularly in his most famous work, The Prince, offers a stark departure from the idealistic views of politics that had prevailed for centuries. His realism, often characterized as Machiavellian, stresses that political actions must be judged by their effectiveness rather than their adherence to moral or ethical standards. In The Prince, Machiavelli offers practical advice to rulers on how to acquire and maintain power, arguing that morality, while important in personal life, should not be a guiding principle in the brutal world of politics. One of Machiavelli's most provocative ideas is the notion that the end justifies the means, a principle that has often been interpreted as a call for ruthless tactics, including deception, manipulation, and even cruelty, to maintain political stability. However, it is crucial to note that Machiavelli does not present this as a universal prescription for all political conduct. Rather, it is a recognition of the harsh realities of governance. In essence, Machiavelli saw politics as a pragmatic exercise in power, and his theories sought to equip rulers with the tools to navigate this complex landscape. While Machiavelli's work was groundbreaking, his ideas were often misunderstood and criticized. Yet, his influence is undeniable. His writings laid the foundation for modern political science, inspiring thinkers from the early modern period to contemporary times. Let's explore how Machiavelli's ideas influenced key political philosophers, starting with the social contract theorists of the 17th century. One of the first philosophers to be heavily influenced by Machiavelli was Thomas Hobbes, whose views on the state of nature and the necessity of absolute authority reflect a Machiavellian understanding of human nature. In his famous work Leviathan, 1651, Hobbes argued that humans are inherently selfish, driven by the pursuit of self-preservation. For Hobbes, this selfishness leads to a state of constant conflict in the absence of a strong central authority. Hobbes' view of the state of nature, where life is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short, echoes Machiavelli's pessimistic view of human nature. Just as Machiavelli believed that rulers must sometimes act outside of moral boundaries to secure their power, Hobbes argued that absolute sovereignty was necessary to prevent chaos and maintain social order. Both thinkers rejected the idea that politics could be based solely on moral virtue or idealistic notions of the common good. Instead, both saw the state as a necessary institution for managing human conflict, driven by the fundamental need for security. Hobbes, however, took this a step further than Machiavelli by arguing for the absolute power of a sovereign ruler. While Machiavelli's rulers were pragmatic and opportunistic, Hobbes believed that the sovereign should have almost unlimited power, as long as it ensured peace and security. In this way, Hobbes built upon Machiavelli's ideas but expanded them into a more systematized vision of absolute political authority. On the other side of the spectrum, we have John Locke, who represents a more optimistic view of human nature and politics. Locke, in his two treatises of government, 1689, offers a stark contrast to Hobbes and Machiavelli. Unlike Hobbes, who saw humans as inherently conflictual, Locke believed that people were capable of reason and could live together in a civil society, governed by natural law and the protection of individual rights. However, despite his idealism, Locke was not immune to Machiavelli's influence. Locke's theories on the separation of powers and the consent of the governed were influenced by Machiavelli's ideas about the importance of balancing different powers within a state to prevent any one group from gaining too much control. For Locke, the government's primary function was to protect the natural rights of life, liberty, and property. This was a direct rejection of Machiavelli's more cynical view of power, but it still acknowledged the complexities of governance, where the balance of powers is crucial to maintaining liberty. Locke also introduced the idea of the right to revolution, suggesting that if the government fails to uphold the rights of the people, they have the right to overthrow it. While Locke didn't advocate for Machiavellian tactics like manipulation and deception, his emphasis on the people's power to check the government's authority is a response to the Machiavellian concern for power and the potential for corruption within political systems. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, in his seminal work The Social Contract, 1762, proposed a model of political authority based on the collective will of the people, or the general will. Rousseau's vision of the state was more idealistic than that of Machiavelli, emphasizing liberty and equality. However, Rousseau's understanding of politics was still influenced by Machiavellian ideas, especially his recognition of the tension between power and virtue in governance. Rousseau acknowledged that the true sovereignty of the people could be undermined by corrupt elites, and that political institutions needed to be carefully designed to preserve the general will. While Rousseau was more optimistic about human nature than Machiavelli, he understood that power, when unchecked, could lead to tyranny. Like Machiavelli, Rousseau understood that maintaining political order required careful attention to power dynamics, though his solution was the creation of a democratic state founded on the collective will of the people. Machiavelli's influence stretches far beyond the classical political philosophers. In the 20th century, thinkers like Carl Schmitt and Friedrich Hayek also drew on his ideas to shape their theories of politics. Carl Schmitt, a German political theorist, was particularly influenced by Machiavelli's understanding of the importance of sovereignty and the role of the state in maintaining order. Schmitt, in his work The Concept of the Political, 1932, argued that the political is defined by the distinction between friend and enemy, and that the state's primary role is to protect the political community from external and internal threats. Like Machiavelli, Schmitt believed that politics was inherently conflictual and that a ruler's authority must be absolute in times of crisis to preserve the state. Friedrich Hayek, on the other hand, was influenced by Machiavelli's emphasis on the complexity and unpredictability of human society. In The Road to Serfdom, 1944, Hayek argued that central planning and excessive government intervention in the economy would inevitably lead to tyranny. While Hayek's political philosophy is often associated with classical liberalism and free markets, his recognition of the dangers of centralized power and the need for political freedom echoes Machiavellian concerns about the abuse of authority. Machiavelli's influence on modern political thought is undeniable. His ideas about power, human nature, and political strategy have shaped the thinking of philosophers as diverse as Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, Schmitt, and Hayek. Whether you view him as the father of modern political science or as a cynic who offered dangerous advice for rulers, his ideas remain deeply relevant to our understanding of politics today. Machiavelli's work invites us to confront the realities of power and the complexities of human behavior, offering a lens through which we can examine the dynamics of governance and authority. As we continue to grapple with the challenges of leadership and political strategy, Machiavelli's ideas continue to provoke, inspire, and challenge us to think critically about the nature of politics. If you found this exploration of Machiavelli's influence on modern political thought thought-provoking, make sure to subscribe to The Unfolding Journey. Here, we delve into the history and philosophy that shape the political world we live in today. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Feel free to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on Machiavelli's legacy and its relevance in modern political theory. Subscribe now to join the unfolding journey of political thought.